Hey everyone, how's it going? My name is Richard Moglen and welcome back to another weekly Watchlist video sponsored by MarketSmith. As always, we'll run through my focus list for this upcoming trading week and talk about their fundamentals, technicals, as well as the setup that I'm looking to trade for each of these stocks. So let me know your thoughts down below on these setups, which ones are your favorite. Also let me know any stocks I'm leaving off of this that you think I should pay attention to next week. And if you do enjoy my analysis and my videos, please go ahead and take the time right now to leave me a like down below. It really helps me out and my channel. And of course, subscribe if you want to see more videos just like this one every single week. With that said, let's go ahead and dive right in and start with ACLS. Overall, semiconductors have been super strong. This is right at all-time highs. We did have a pullback on Friday, undercutting this low. I would have preferred an inside day, but we're basically just pulling back to the prior base pivot, which stocks often do. And now I'd love to see some kind of tightness consolidation right near that 80 level, and then a reconfirmation through these highs. So it needs a little bit of time, a few days here to really set things up. You could also potentially buy a pullback, undercut and reclaim of that prior pivot, just like on Friday. Overall, great numbers, earnings, sales, estimates are super strong, nice trend in fund ownership, and yeah, just a really strong stock in a leading group. Moving on, we've got AOSL, another semiconductor name here. Really strong action in recent weeks along with the overall group. And now it's right at all-time highs and consolidating right at that 64 level. Overall, I'd love to see some tightening here, maybe a pullback to this prior pivot and then reconfirmation to the upside. But overall, I want to see kind of volume decline on any pullback or sideways action, and then the reconfirmation on higher volume. Overall, really nice earnings, sales, margins. Estimates are strong for this year. I would like to see the 7% be higher, but we'll have to see how that gets updated in the coming quarters. And look at the fund ownership, you've got a nice increasing trend. So that is AOSL. Moving on, we've got Bros here. Really strong action off the bottom here, higher low, but we did have a pullback after kind of a failed breakout through this pivot. So what I want to see now is kind of a move up off that 21 EMA level, get back towards that 60 mark, and then maybe an inside day, and then a breakout through that level, maybe forming a pivot right here below this pivot right here, but still needs a lot of work to do. A few more days of tightening would be very constructive. I definitely want to see it kind of rally off that 21 EMA level. Look at the fundamentals. You can see really nice growth a few quarters ago. Did have an earnings decrease of 50% the most recent quarter, but sales were still strong and really strong estimates for 2023. And look at the fund ownership. You've got 163 funds in here and 2 high quality funds in this recent IPO. Moving on, we've got BTU, and this has been a really strong leading group. The energy coal names, definitely a little bit extended, but also very strong off the bottom and potentially forming a little bit of a high tight flag. Although I would like to see maybe a few more weeks, one more week of sideways action right near these all-time highs, maybe pulling back, undercutting 25, reconfirming to the upside, and then setting up below this pivot. But nevertheless, we could get a breakout through this level, through that 27, 28. Overall, the recent quarter was really strong, earnings up 412%, sales up 72%, really strong estimates for 2023. In the next year, it's supposed to decrease 53%, but estimates are being revised upwards. And we've got a nice increase over the past 4 quarters in terms of fund ownership. So really powerful stock in a leading group as of this moment. Moving on, we've got Caterpillar forming out a stage 1 double bottom base. Really tight handle here, or flag, whatever you want to call this, on declining volume. This is pretty much textbook in terms of what you want to see here. And basically, I want to see a reconfirmation through these highs, breaking out of this flag and moving towards that 230.43 pivot. Overall, in terms of earnings, sales, margins, not super strong growth here, but decent for a bigger company here. And overall, you can see decent estimates as well, 13%, 19%, although estimate revisions are down. And look at the fund ownership. You've got a gradual increase over the past 2 years, but recently we do have a decrease, and you do have one high quality fund invested into the stock. But overall, really strong off the bottom here. Nice tight action in this handle, and I definitely want to see volume come in on any potential move. Next up, we've got Costco, another kind of slower mover here, forming a nice handle on declining volume. This is a stage 3 here. We did have the breakout at 545.29, but it's kind of forming a secondary handle below all-time highs, the 571.41 pivot. So I want to see a breakout through this flag on volume. Overall, looking at the fundamentals, not super strong growth, but this is kind of a steady long-term leader. If we go over to a monthly chart, it just goes from the bottom left to the top right. It's always good to have a few of these in your portfolio just to kind of balance out the higher beta names. And this is a great add in a potential Roth IRA or longer term account. Overall, really nice estimates for this name, 9%, 10%. Estimate revisions are up. and you've got a nice steady fund ownership increases and 2 high quality funds invested in the stock, and this has been performing quite well. You've got an RS rating of 93. Moving on, we've got GTLB, and this is a play on the high volume edge here, and you can see a really strong push off the bottom on the highest volume since that IPO day, and now we've got a pullback here on declining volume, although still reasonably high. But I basically want to see a nice push on volume, breaking through these highs and pushing back, and ideally starting to build up the right-hand side of the space. This still has a lot of work to do, but this is more of a swing trade idea. And overall sales growth is really strong. It's not supposed to be profitable in 2023 or 2024, but you do have already 209 funds invested and 1 high-quality fund in there as well. So that is GTLB. Moving on, we've got Live Nation, and it's forming a little bit of a short-term consolidation handle, volatility contraction, whatever you want to call it, right above the 21 EMA and 50 SMA within the stage 3 base. Really nice sales growth the past 3 quarters, and really strong estimates for 2023, up 204%. And you've got nice steady fund ownership growth and 2 high quality funds in here as well. So with this chart, I want to see a definitive push and breakout through this high right here, which is at 118.44 on volume. And I like how it's going sideways right above those moving averages on declining volume. Definitely constructive price and volume action, and we are in a leading group top 40 as of this moment. Next up, we've got MDRX, which is pulling back into the 21 EMA on declining volume. A nice action hammer candle on this Friday, so I want to see kind of resumed momentum here on Monday, breaking through these highs and that 22 level, and ideally breaking out into all-time highs over the course of the next week or so. Overall, looking at the earnings sales margins, you can see really nice growth in terms of earnings. Sales growth is pretty much flat, but you do have a really strong increase in those after-tax margins. Looking at the estimates, you can see these aren't great. You can see that they're being revised downwards, but you are seeing some growth there in 2023. And we've got a gradual increase in fund ownership, although no high-quality funds. And one main drawback of this name is it isn't in a leading group. This is definitely in a laggard group as of this moment. Moving on, we've got NVDA, which has been super strong over the past 2 weeks here, and I'd love to see a pullback into that 269.25 area on declining volume. And overall really strong numbers in terms of earnings, sales margins, estimates, fund ownership, and look at that high quality fund ownership as well. And this is involved in a lot of kind of themes going on right now, AI, metaverse, all of that, and the overall group has been acting super strong. So I want to see how this acts up the right hand side. And yeah, the action late last week was super strong, especially on this day, reconfirming to the upside. And then we had a reasonably tight day here on declining volume. So definitely one to have on your radar. This is one of the liquid leaders. Next up, we've got SEDG representing the solar names here. You've got a stage 1 cup with handle standard pivot of 335.57. You've also got this high right here, which is a pivot at 340 flat. Looking at the growth numbers, you can see it's not crazy, but is decent here, and really nice earnings estimates for 2023, although estimate revisions are down. Overall, really strong growth in fund ownership over the past 2 years, and 1 high quality fund in here as well. And this is pretty close to all-time highs. Not too much overhead supply, so I'd love to see a breakout through these levels on volume. And I like how this is kind of trending above the moving averages, pulling back, tightening. It is a little bit choppy in here, but decent action over the past few days. Moving on, we've got SITM, another semiconductor name, kind of moving up the right-hand side. You've got a pivot right at this level, wedging up a little bit on lower volume, so maybe we get a shakeout here. That'd be ideal. But overall, this is a very strong stock moving up the right-hand side. Great earnings sales margins the most recent 4 quarters, great estimates as well, and really strong growth in fund ownership. You can see that, and a whole bunch of high-quality funds, 5 high-quality funds invested into this name. So I want to see a breakout on volume and a push up the right-hand side towards that 300 level. And just going over to a weekly, you can see that this does have the character of being able to really make tremendous gains and trend above those moving averages. So that is SITM. And lastly, we've got Tesla, the other big liquid leader here. Really strong push the past 2 weeks on high volume, and then 2 tight days to end out last week. Great earnings, sales margins, estimates, fund ownership, all of that. And overall, I would like to see a few more days of tightening here. And ideally, we get a shakeout here under kind of reclaiming that 1,000 level to get a little bit of those weaker holders out of there before moving up the right-hand side of the space. But overall, definitely a liquid leader to watch. And this is now a stage 1 base. So overall, that is pretty much it for my focus list. Let me know your thoughts on these setups. What's your favorite down below in the comment section? Once again, let me know any stocks I forgot to put on this list. And if you did enjoy this analysis, please go ahead and take the time right now to leave me a like down below and subscribe if you want to see more videos just like this one every single week. And with that said, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys in future videos. Peace.